Welcome to another edition of Q&A with Sarah and Wulwyn. Do you want to do the intro today?
No, I did it last week.
Okay. All right, y'all, welcome. We are the people in the process of People Plus Process equals Profits. My name is Sarah Madras, and I am, yes, raining money.
Raining. Wulwyn Porte.
Yes, so I am the people side of the People Plus Process equals Profits. I am a seasoned mental health therapist turned mindset transformation expert and certified Dare to Lead facilitator based on the research of Brene Brown. So I transform I transform.
We're about to say billion, right? But 6 figures, 6 billion, you know.
I'm manifesting.
There
That's
you go.
Happening.
To
have divine downloads.
And to you out there who think you have to be perfect when you're doing this, we just showed you that. You just got to keep with the flow.
Let me try. I'm like, take two. Exactly. So I transform overwhelmed 6-figure hustlers into 7-figure leaders. So I help you scale your business through the use of mindset and courage skills by building a high-performing, trustworthy, loyal, connected team.
Oh,
done.
The way you did it at the end, you know, it was just really just loyal, connected team. I mean, that was smooth. And I'm Wulwyn Porte. I was a systems and computer science engineer. And then I resigned and opened Joseph Solomon. But it's not about Joseph Solomon, it's about people's process and profits. And I'm the process part of this. So I bring those years of experience to come and make your business, define your business in putting processes into place, systems and processes into place that make you build strong fundamental businesses to blossom and grow. I'm trying to mimic Sarah with the calm voice here. That's why it's hard for me to explain myself because I would
really
go faster.
Like, what's happening here? What is he doing?
I am mimicking, I am mirroring.
Okay.
But listen though, go to http://people process profits and you'll see what we do. Really go there.
Yeah. We basically shave time off of the struggle because when you're working with somebody on mindset and the mechanics at the same time, your business is going to go further faster. So
the struggle is real.
Yeah, we cut down on that struggle, right? We don't eliminate it completely because, come on, let's be real. Business has parts and seasons and moments of struggle. So we're not going to blow smoke and be like, oh my God, we're going to save you from any struggle, because that would just be a bunch of BS.
Correct. Correct.
All right, let's dive in.
What's on the plate?
So the question for today is essentially what do I do when I make a mistake in business? And so we're going to talk about the do's and don'ts for when you make a mistake in business, and you will, because we are humans, we are not robots, we are imperfect beings with emotions and here to learn things, and we don't know everything all the time. So you're going to make mistakes along the way.
Wow. I think the very first thing that you said, that we're not robots, and you have to come in your space knowing that you are a human. That's the very first thing, that you're a human, and being a human. See how I forgot to put the right microphone on? Now I put the right microphone on.
And I forgot to put lipstick on, and I'm like, God, I look so washed out and pale right now.
You want to run and get your lipstick?
I'm like, you do your thing.
Oh, look at you. See, I forgot to put some
I'm gonna do mine real quick.
I forgot to put some Vaseline on mine, but
now plug in your microphone. No, plug in your microphone real quick.
It's already plugged. It's done. I'm done.
See, now I don't look as pale, y'all. Isn't that just magical? Like, people are gonna think we're crazy, and they're gonna be like, switching the channel.
Oh, so once, but yeah, but I think this defines what we're doing live is really showing how to flow in what's happening in your business,
Mhm.
because things will occur. We've always heard of Murphy's Law, right? Something's gonna happen. We last week we forgot to put our background up, and in the middle of it, we're like, oh wow. So when you make that mistake, know that you're not a robot. Know you're a human, and as long as you know you are um, fallible, not infallible, you are fallible. You have so many things hidden in this operating system that we have here that you don't have all the heuristics to give the perfect answer at the right time. You don't have the perfect system in place that when the employee who woke up on the wrong side of the bed, or the client who woke up on the wrong side of the bed hits you, where you're thinking about cash flow in a different way, and that they come from that different angle, you go, what? And whatever that comes out during that time, and when you leave that situation, be it a contract, a merger or acquisition, something you're doing that you make a mistake, the human factor allows you to turn around and knock on the door and say, hey, I thought about this, because we have thought. We have a brain and we think. I thought about this. Why don't we just revisit that? Because I think I was in the wrong space at that time. There's so much more respect flowing your way at that moment, because it allows now the relationship to have a membrane that can easily be broken. And even when it's broken, there's respect in there that can rebuild that membrane and carry the relationship onward.
So what I hear you saying is the step one do is to take ownership,
Ah,
right? Of take ownership of, hey, I was not in the best headspace when I showed up for that conversation. Can we do a redo? Can we
mm,
circle back around, right? So the number one do is to take ownership.
mm,
But here's what happens, what I've seen over and over and over again. What gets in the way of people taking ownership of their mistakes is pride. And so that feeling of, by making a mistake, it means I'm less than, which that is a lie. That's a limiting belief. That isn't even true. It's just playing in the
mm,
background of your brain.
mm,
And so just because you made a mistake doesn't make you any less intelligent as a business person, any less capable. It just makes you human, right? And
wow.
so think of it this way: perfection creates disconnection. And so if you're, I'm like, whoa, and put that in the comments. Put that in the
Mm,
comments.
I'm,
Perfection creates disconnection. Because when
uh,
you are showing up trying to be perfect, and that sense of perfectionism of, well, if I'm not perfect, then people are going to think less of me. So I have to be perfect all the time and not take ownership and be prideful, right? Like pride and perfection sometimes are like best buddies. They're holding hands together.
mm,
And so
mm,
instead of holding hands with pride, you want to be holding hands with your clients, with your team members, things like that. And that comes through connection. And you can't have connection if you're worried about perfection and holding hands
mm,
with pride walking down the
wow.
street. Like you're going to be alone with pride holding your hand down the street with no clients in your business. Right?
Correct, correct, correct. Wow.
So,
I'm listening to you, and I'm writing these notes here. So that's not a good scenario, because I don't do two things at one time. That's not my
it's not
core.
setting you up for success.
It's not setting me up for success, because I'm thinking about the next. What do I say next? She was saying something really great. Perfection creates disconnection. Don't think you're perfect. Do take ownership. Um, the so the biggest mistake, one of the biggest ones, I think, is somebody's growing, a business is growing, and you're thinking about getting in a partnership, right? And as you're getting in a partnership, you go in and you think a business partnership is the same as a friendship, even though they're similar. go back to last week's where we talked about how marriage and business are similar, but I think that they are. I'm gonna backtrack for a second and say they are. When you're creating a partnership, what you should do this. If you make this mistake, you get in this partnership and you find out that your core values aren't similar, and you discover I made this mistake, any kind of mistake. There's something called sunk cost. That don't die over the mistake. Don't put your head in the sand like an ostrich, right? Don't put your head in the sand. Get up, go to that mistake and say, you know what? I think I made a mistake with this relationship, with this partnership in this business. Our core values aren't gelling. And believe it or not, the person on the other end is feeling the same way. And you will always find, oh my goodness, you know what? You're right. You're right. That we do. So Sarah, I think you know what this conversation is going? This conversation is going to, we have two rules. One, respect. Rule number two, refer to number one. Refer to number one, because if when you go and you find out that it's coming back to taking ownership, take ownership of it and come and say, that thing that I did, whatever the mistake is, that thing that I did, I was wrong, and let's move forward. It's either a handshake, we sever ties, or we fix it.
Right. Let me give a shout out to Dorsey Dugan, who is watching live. If you have any questions for us or any comments, input you want to add, feel free to put it in the comments and we will keep an eye on it so that we can answer and include you in the conversation. So,
And if we make a mistake, hey, we'll come back and say sorry.
exactly. The other thing too, a really important do when it comes to when you make a mistake in business is self-compassion, right? Because that's another thing that gets in the way of us owning our mistakes is a lack of self-compassion and just really being like, okay, what set me up for this situation? And maybe what set you up for the situation is you are burnt out, you have too many things on your plate, not enough supports, and so your reservoir, your bucket is empty, and that's what sets you up for this mistake, and that's what sets you up for not taking full ownership of it, yada yada yada. So just ask yourself, okay, what set me up for this mistake? And be like, okay, is the fact that I'm burnt out and don't have enough supports. So then what can I do to fix that? What can I do to show up as my best self next time? What can I do to take ownership of this? So let me give you an example, because when people are scaling their business, a lot of times that's when a lot of mistakes happen, is because they're going from one level to the next. And you don't want to lose customer experience and customer service just because you're getting bigger. So I recently, like a month ago, contracted with a company to help me with lead generation. They were supposed to do this whole onboarding process, yada, yada, yada. I have my onboarding call, and it was they told me it was going to be with one guy. That was not the guy who showed up to the call. And this young kid, and to me, he was a young kid. He had to be early 20s. He's on the call and he's asking me the questions. And I looked at him and I was like, this is why I'm hiring you guys.
He's asking a question of what? About
of like what I want to say in my templates for the lead generation. And I was like, it was explained to me that you guys are helping me with the scripts because that's your area of expertise. And this poor kid, bless his heart, he says to me, ma'am, I'm not really good at that. That's probably why they moved me from sales over to onboarding. I didn't even know what a CRM was 3 months ago. And I was just like, oh, Lord. So it did not instill confidence in me of like, hey, this is going to be a great experience. They know what they're talking about.
correct.
And so I started to get really anxious of like, uh-oh, this is not going well. And so I ended up writing my own and said, I'll just get back because my connection, the reason I got involved with this company is the owner. The owner of the company is who I talk to. And so I'm like, I'll just reach out to the owner. Reached out to the owner, crickets. No more responding to my text, no more responding to emails. And I'm like, what is going on? So then I set up a meeting with him on his calendar. He no shows to the meeting, y'all. And I am like, what is happening? Well, through the grapevine, he's super busy and they're growing so big and da 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 da. And I'm like, the mistake that you just made is you didn't train your staff, and he's out there having onboarding calls with not just me, but God knows how many other people he's having these conversations with. So the people that he's bringing on board while they scale are not properly trained. He is not having the supports and resources or managing his schedule in order to provide a good customer experience. And then there is absolutely positively no ownership. Like to the point of now I'm totally ghosted and I'm going to have to go through my freaking credit card to dispute the charge because I can't get a hold of the dude. You know what I mean? And so I feel like this is an extreme example of what not to do, but I guarantee you, I'll put money on it because it happens so often that if that person was on the call right now, they would be like, well, I didn't realize that happened and we've trained him better than that.
Yes.
And we'll circle back around and there was a glitch in my calendar and they just have me moving in so many And so what do you hear?
Excuses.
Excuse.
No ownership.
Is any of that ownership?
There we go again. There are two rules in when you make mistakes, right? Take ownership. The second one, go back to rule number one. I had a situation. I am attempting to truly start a network within RTP, within Durham, within Raleigh. And I'm meeting people. My calendar is, I'm a stickler with my calendar. Get on my calendar, da 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 da. I talk to this lady and she tells me, oh, let's meet on X day. I said, just use my calendar. She says, you know what? I'm not sure. So let's play it by ear for a week and then I will let you know. So I get on my calendar and put tentative meeting because I don't want to put somebody's name on there, tentative, because it's tentative.
Right.
Tentative meeting becomes a solid meeting. When it becomes a solid meeting, it's via text. My process is for the client to go on Calendly and put it in. That's my process. I stick by that process. I do not put appointments in my calendar, except as a dental, whatever, right? Tentative stays tentative. Meet in Durham at a restaurant for us to have a business lunch. I think this is going to resonate with a whole lot of people. The day comes and I'm not feeling well. This is 2019. And I look at my calendar just to let everybody know. I see tentative meeting. I'm like, tentative meeting? You surely tentative. Click. Went under the covers, went to bed. Tentative meeting was at 11. By 12, I get a text. I've been waiting for you for the hour, and it's same as though you stood me up. I've never been stood up like this before. And I look and I said, excuse me, who are you?
Oh no.
Something to that, because I had talked to the person via phone. So I had the person's phone number, but it wasn't, I hadn't texted with the person. And this is a new person, so I'm not gonna go and put your name in my phone until we build a relationship, right? So I go, who are you? So these are the things. Don't make this mistake, y'all.
Right.
Do
Put
not
the phone number and the name in
put
immediately.
So I put it in Sarah. I said, well, and the person gives their name, and I go, oh, I said, you know what? Now this is where the story is about to turn. I go, I apologize. I had a tentative in my schedule, but I didn't put the what after we had spoken, I didn't update it. So please forgive me. Can we please go and have? I said, sorry. That person said, I will never, ever do business with you because you're irresponsible and da 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 da. And she just laid it on me. And I said, I apologize. I made a mistake. I
Right.
admit my mistake. And I explained the mistake.
Yeah.
Guess what? Thank you. When you do become gracious, I will be waiting because I'm still interested in finding out your story. And guess when I met the person, what the person was speaking about? They were speaking about being gracious.
Stop. Are you serious? Oh, that was a really good mirror opportunity of like, here's the mirror. You know what? That's so interesting. It makes me think because I am such a stickler for that. And so when I make that mistake, it's the worst feeling in the
It's the
world.
worst.
It is.
It's
And
the worst.
I've done it twice in probably because I am such a stickler where it makes me crazy because I am such a like, let me value and respect somebody's time and their energy and like they blocked this out. So that means they missed an opportunity for something else during that time slot. So I'm very much aware of the magnitude of it.
Correct.
And I 2 times probably in the last 10 years, honestly, well, 2 vastly different experiences on how the other person handled it because I immediately, and I'm like, oh my Lord, and I will own the heck out of it and apologize because I am genuinely mortified that that happened and that I did that.
Correct.
One person, she was like, listen, it happens. Like, I knew that you would never do anything. Like, a person is not going to intentionally do that.
Correct.
So like, it's okay. She's like, let's reschedule. And when we rescheduled, because my whole thing is I practice 3-part accountability, right? So accountability has 3 steps to it. Step 1 is you take full ownership of the mistake that was made. Step 2 is you genuinely and heartfelt apologize for it and validate of like, I understand that this put you out because you drove, you could have had another appointment. Like, I'm so sorry. And then the third and most important part that everybody forgets is the repair. You have to do something to repair your mistake. Not just be like, I said I was sorry, what's the big deal? Like, that's not enough, right? And so for my repair, I was like, when we meet, like, I'm treating you, the least I can do is treat you to this lunch since I wasted your time the first time around. And she was so gracious towards me. And it was such a lesson for me of, because I'm a stickler on it, I had not been gracious to other people when they did it to me. It would get me. I would be like, oh, that's so rude. And I would, be like, I'm not rescheduling. You don't respect my time, blah, 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 blah. But mind you, the difference, no one, when they did it to me, they weren't apologizing and owning it. Like, they would just be like, oh, missed the appointment, want to reschedule? And it's like, nope. So the ownership is such a key piece to that, right?
Yes.
I literally just did the other story, the flip side of that is when it happened a month ago, it was a February 5th appointment. I accidentally put it on Friday, March 5th, because they're both Friday the 5th. And I accidentally put it in my calendar instead of Friday, February 5th. I put it Friday, March 5th. Totally just me entering it incorrectly. Again, apologize profusely. Like, what can I do? Let me buy you a cup of coffee to repair it. Like, I am so sorry. And the person was like, yeah, it's fine. Okay, click. And crickets.
Yes.
And I got to suck that up and own that because it was my mistake. And I have to honor the way that they're responding to that because it was my mistake to begin with. And so I can't judge them then of not giving me grace or not being like, you do you. I'm the one who made that mistake. So I got to suffer whatever consequences you feel are appropriate for that. You know what I mean?
And Sarah, here's what I want to tell us and our listeners. After you have taken ownership and apologized and attempted to repair and they don't want to accept a repair, don't take ownership of that part.
Right.
Let it go. Because you will spend maybe 30, 45 or 1 hour of your time wasting your time thinking about that person on, oh, how am I gonna, it's done. You already attempted it. It's like you telling somebody sorry a million times and they keep telling you, well, you will suffer for it. You will, no. I apologize one time and that's one is really good enough. If I do it 10 times, man, it's great. But man, I'm not going 11. I'm not going 12. You know what? Thinking about it, I'm glad this stuff happened to you. I mean, because in your grace, when you said this, right after this occurred, somebody did it to me twice. Another person, I mean, two different instances.
Right.
And when it occurred, they profusely apologized, they took ownership. I said, look, listen. This is what we said in the beginning. We're humans.
Yeah.
And it is always my reply. Aren't you a human? And they go, yeah. I said, we make mistakes.
Yeah. And
because we make mistakes, because I made the same mistake, then it's okay. Yeah. Let's reschedule.
Yeah.
And that's how the world turns. You know?
So it's that self-forgiveness piece. Like, do have self-forgiveness. If you've owned it, you've profusely apologized, you've tried to repair, and if they still are shooting you down, then grant yourself self-forgiveness and let it go.
Because guess what? You will make mistakes. So here goes. I'm going to give a summary today because you know why? I wrote it. If I didn't know, so Sarah, it's just summarize, Sarah, what we just talked about. So in summary, the do and don'ts when you make a mistake in business, and you will make mistakes, we say that one, do take ownership of it. Do say that I'm the one who caused this issue. Don't think you're perfect. 3, see me reading, perfection creates disconnection. That's the quotable quote from today that she said, Wulwyn, write it down there, write it around there. Have self-compassion. And we learned that accountability has 3 steps. 1, Sarah,
is take full responsibility and ownership.
2,
to apologize, genuinely heartfelt, and validate their point of view and the impact that your mistake had on them.
And 3,
to make a repair.
Ladies and gentlemen, I turn it over to Sarah Madras to close us.
And remember that the number one barrier that gets in the way of us owning our stuff is pride. And so at the end of the day, do you want to be alone with your pride? Or do you want to be together, connected with your community, with your clients, with your referral partners, with your network, and with your money? Because that's what happens. Is you make more money when you own your stuff.
So that's us, Sarah and Wulwyn. PeoplePlusProcess equal profits. Don't really do. If you have any questions, please reach out to us. Go there.
And you can always just send us a private message on Facebook of what your question is, and then we will answer it live the next week on Tuesdays, 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, right here on our Facebook page.
You guys have a good one.
Bye, thanks.
Bye-bye.